I came to Ohio Wesleyan to work in the development office, and my first year there, one of my assignments was to work with Ed Robinson in planning and carrying out the GE College Bowl experience. First thing we did was to develop a test where we invited anyone who wanted to come from the student body to come and take this test. And we read off 60 questions, rapid fire, no time to think, write down the answer, on to the next question. And from that first test, we selected about 10 or 12 students and then ran them through practice games on boards like this. And in the end, the top 4 who had ended up with the practice games were the same 4 who had the best scores on that test. Now, did any of you take that test? Would you like to have your chance now? Why don't you come on up here?
We need spiritual help.
Is by any chance Yale Gutnick here? Is Yale here really? Yale? It's a lifetime dream of mine to see you sitting up here with the College Bowl. I'll just say that none of these questions have your name as the answer. Bill Schaefer might be an answer. How about right here? Over here, we need one more for the UCLA. Definitely needs one more. Come on up. What we're going to do, I'm going to play Robert Earl, who was the moderator of the GE College Bowl. As I think most of you know, our Ohio Wesleyan team won 5 times, retired as undefeated champions, and the third week was the UCLA game, which was, a lot of people thought, nice going guys, you won twice, but now you're up against UCLA, and we beat them rather handily. After we play the game for a while, we're going to show you the Ohio Wesleyan UCLA video. So you'll actually get to see that game. Now we do have a ringer on the UCLA team, because I do remember seeing Chuck on Jeopardy! We have game boards from the local high school, and they were working. I have to remember to push a reset button every time the question is answered, but there'll be a light that will appear. Yes?
I don't have to answer the question.
No, that's right. Okay. Yeah, let's test the button. Let's do it. Let's start down here. You do it. Okay, that's not. Okay, I think what we're going to. I think it's going to be awkward if they're not working right. What you just have to do is hit the tape. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right.
Keep it quiet.
Chief engineer to work here. Okay, let's try again. does take a very long. Okay, that's...
It was there.
Okay. Let's start and see what happens. Okay. I'm not going to say anything about that, right? I've never seen this question before. Let the games begin. Okay. Yeah, that'll be helpful for the audience. Anytime I forget, shout it out. You know, there's a 5-point minus penalty if you push too soon. Or, okay. Don't worry about that. It doesn't work. Okay. Here we go. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Let's start over here. Good. Bill? Bill Schaefer, Birmingham, Michigan. His house is for sale.
Was Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Winchester, Virginia, and then Washington.
Lawrence Motter said, was Washington, D.C. Now, of course, with Rhode Island.
Chuck Pitcock, Chester, Illinois.
Art Shelp, Cincinnati, Ohio, proud to be sitting next to a former Jeopardy player.
Ed Lundeen, Austin, Texas.
Bill Jacobus is currently homeless.
Not from UCLA, you can't be homeless.
Actually, at one time I lived in Davis, California, so it's appropriate.
Okay, good. Well, there's more to that story about being homeless. Okay, now let the games begin.
What is your name?
I told you once and you weren't listening. I'm Bob Holm, I'm class of '60. I worked at Ohio Wesleyan for 40 years in the development office, and I've been retired for 10 years. And here I am again. Okay. Many poets have written sonnets to their fair ladies for 10 points. Who wrote them?
Shakespeare to the Dark Lady.
Correct. We have a 30-point bonus question for this. Well, yeah. You don't need to push the buttons on this, so we have a 30-point bonus question for this team. Meetings and partings are frequent in works of literature, and here are some book titles that include the words we say at meeting and parting. Title of a novel by Ernest Hemingway. Title of a one-act play by William Saroyan. That's Hello Out There. A novel by Francois Sagan. Correct. A book of poems by Carl Sandburg. Good Morning America. A novel by James Hilton.
Goodbye, Mr. Chips.
Correct. And finally, a biography of John Barrymore by Jean Fowler. Correct. Next toss-up. It is indigenous to North and South Carolina, and its name is Dionaea muscipula. No, M-U-S-C-I-P-U-L-A. What is the most unusual characteristic of this plant?
It eats it.
Correct. It eats insects. I'll try and repeat. Okay, your bonus question. American presidents have been many things to many people. For 5 points apiece, identify the American president who was a combination of these things. Lawyer, history professor, college president, and governor of New Jersey. That's over here. Nice try. Woodrow Wilson is correct. Medical student, Indian fighter, Army officer, 9th President of the United States. Incorrect. It's William Henry Harrison, not Andrew Jackson. Law student, school teacher, editor, and newspaper publisher. Correct. Warren G. Harding. Sheriff of Erie County, Mayor of Buffalo, Governor of New York. Grover Cleveland is correct. Member of the House of Representatives, U.S. Senator, Minister to Russia, Envoy to Great Britain, Secretary of State to the Cabinet of President Polk, and relative of my wife Mary. No, not John Quincy Adams, it's John Buchanan. Reported by Son to be the worst president. Sorry, Mary. Change my mind. What did I say? James. Sorry, James. Reset. We're going to announce the score after we see the video. Okay, guys, here you go. This ought to be good. Toss-up. I own a paint manufacturing company. I want to expand my business by what economists call horizontal expansion. For 10 points, what do I do? Build more buildings. Correct. Notice who's answering all the questions. These two. Bonus question. Alexander had quite an empire in 323 BC. Today his empire would include all or part of a number of modern nations. 10 points if you can name 6, 20 if you can name 10, and 30 if you can name 14. Now, maybe here's a piece of paper. Just do it. Wait a minute. Well, the person who made up this question, was this 1964 or now? Give it a try. I have no idea. Okay.
Greece, Turkey, Cyprus, Lebanon, Syria, Israel, Egypt, Iraq, Iran, Turkey.
Okay, you got 12 points. 20 points for that. Okay. Want to write these down? Afghanistan, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Egypt, Greece, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Pakistan, Syria, and Turkey.
What were the other two? 14. They had 12, right?
I made it up. It seemed like it was close to 12. I don't think they'll mind. Next toss-up. Among the protector deities in this mythology are a half-lion, half-dwarf, and 2 ladies. The first was the god Bes, while the latter was represented by a snake and a vulture. Its book of Heavenly Cow contains the myth of the destruction of humanity, in which beer, dyed to resemble blood, curtails a rampage. You can interrupt at a time, you know. By the goddess Hathor. For 10 points, the mythology that name the mythology that included the sun god Ra. There you go. Egyptians, correct. Egyptian mythology is the answer. Okay, team, you ready? We could have a timeout and have 4 others come up. Dismiss UCLA and have Bard College.
Can we get oranges and snacks after the
Okay. Who keeps pushing this button? All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you have a bonus. We get so excited. Given a European nation, okay, name its second most populous city. What is the second most populous city in the following countries? Germany. Hamburg is correct. Ireland. Cork is correct. Poland. It's L-O-D-Z. So that's 20 points. Okay, you've got to get this one. According to common usage in this country, what comes between a birdie and a bogey? Total of 30 points for this. Some people keep goldfish, some keep hamsters. For 5 points apiece, identify the animal or animal life with which these people are principally associated with. Joy Adamson.
Lions.
Correct. Gavin Maxwell.
Cars.
Others. Of course. Thomas Hunt Morgan. Fruit flies. Yeah. Dr. John C. Lilly of the Communications Research Institute in Florida. Correct. Wolfgang Kohler. Good try. How many times were you on Jeopardy? That's chimpanzees. And Ivan Pavlov. Got it. It was devised by Dr. David J. Bradley, who never intended it for public use. Today used when Windows users need to access the task manager, that is, for 10 points, what combinations dubbed the three-finger salute, which early PC users used to reboot the system. Okay? Correct.
Control,
Control.
delete, all at the same
I
time.
might want to write that down. I always forget it myself. Maybe I'll save this question. Okay, here's your bonus. In 480 BC, the Persians lost a sea battle to the Greeks, but the Persian king left an army to deal with the Greeks the following spring. For 10 points each, name the sea battle in which the Greeks used a narrow channel to defeat the Persian ships. Salam. The Persian king on the losing end of both Salamis and Plataea. Correct. That's for 10 points. What modern piece of writing mentions the following figures? A one-eyed merchant, a hanged man, and an...
T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland.
Correct. The drowned Phoenician sailor, the answer is T.S. T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. Bonus question for 20 points, 10 points apiece.
Reset.
Identify the historian or social scientist that first gained fame by noting the influence of the receding frontier on American expansion. Frederick Jackson Turner is correct. The influence of sea power upon history. Mahan, Alfred Thayer Mahan, correct. 20 points for that. Next toss up. Though a member of the Second Continental Congress, he did not get a chance to sign the Declaration of Independence because George Washington ordered him to set up the defense of the Hudson River Valley. A brigadier general, thanks to his service in the French and Indian War, he was a poor strategist, and his bad planning led to the loss of Fort Montgomery in 1777. He had considerably more success in politics, and he served as governor of New York for a total of 21 years. For 10 points, Bill. George Clinton. For 10 points, name this Democratic Republican who served as Vice President of the United States from 1805 to 1812. George Clinton is correct. Bonus question, 30 points, 10 points apiece. Identify the poets that wrote these lines. The poet who wrote, on desperate seas, long want to roam. The hyacinth's hair, thy classic face, the naiad airs have brought me home to the glory that was Greece and the grandeur that was Rome. Edgar Allan Poe is correct. Lo, all our pomp of yesterday is one with Nivet and Tyre, judge of the nations, spare us yet, lest we forget, lest we forget. Kipling is correct. I should have put this one aside. Lars Porsena of Clusium, by the 9 gods he swore, the great house of Tarquin should suffer wrong no more. And that is Macaulay and Horatius. I'll got that. Okay, next toss-up. For 10 points, what famous American reportedly expressed a philosophical attitude about taxes in these words? The taxes are indeed very heavy, and if those laid on by the government were the only ones we had to pay, we might more easily discharge them. But we have many others, and much more grievous to some of us. We are taxed twice as much by our idleness, 3 times as much by our pride. Benjamin Franklin is correct. 4 times as much by our folly, and for these taxes the commissioners cannot ease or deliver us by allowing an abatement. Benjamin Franklin. Bonus question for 20 points. Many of the early explorers searched without success for the Northwest Passage, which would take them from the Atlantic to the Pacific. For 10 points, who wrote a book entitled Northwest Passage? Correct, Kenneth Roberts. For 10 points, who finally navigated the Northwest Passage? Roald Amundsen. That's 10 points. Next toss-up. Published in 1690. The first is a refutation of the divine rights of kings as presented in Filmer's Patriarcha. The second argued for a government... oh, sorry.
Is it John Locke?
No. I'll continue with the question. Sorry. The second argument for a government with power split between the legislative branch and the monarchy. It also defined the principal role of government as protecting the property of man and put forth the concept of a social contract. Published in 1690, identified this work by John Locke. Correct. It's 2 treatises of government. Oh, that's a toss-up.
That's the problem.
Yes, right. have to know what the question is.
Yes.
Okay, bonus question, 20 points. In order to be useful, heat must be carried from the device in which it is generated to the place where it is to be used. For 20 points, name the 3 ways in which heat may be transferred. Well, I've heard 2, conduction, convection, and the third is radiation. Sounds like you had to have all 3 right. Okay, we have time for one more question. Toss up. From what you know of President's sons, for 10 points, which president's son was in close proximity to 3 presidential assassinations? Bill. Correct. Lincoln's son, Robert Todd Lincoln. Okay, for 30 points, your bonus question. According to biologist Lewis Wolford, it is not birth, marriage, or death, but this moment, which is truly the most important in your life. Identify this dramatic moment when the 3 primary germ layers began to separate and took form. That would be grastrulation. Tell, I wrote all these. Identify the hollow ball of cells which you were immediately before grastrulation. That would be a blastocyst. The cells which would become your mesoderm moved into the space between your ectoderm and endoderm by passing through an elongated depression called what? That would be a primitive street. That was a downer. The other day I was going through some papers from the College Bowl Time, and I came upon a letter that Eldon Smith wrote to me, who's president of the university at that time, and was thanking me for my work on the College Bowl. And it was a very complimentary letter, but I think the most important thing about it was he spoke at length about the amazing and wonderful impact that this experience had on Ohio Wesleyan in terms of attracting students and attracting dollars. And even a week ago, I talked to a friend of mine, class of 70, who talked, or class of 68 rather, who talked about how she came to Ohio Wesleyan because of seeing the team on the College Bowl. It made such a positive impression. I think the fact that 50 years later we're still here celebrating is testament to the fact that it was a really special time for Ohio Wesleyan. We owe great debt to 2 team members who are here and the others who were on the team who aren't with us today. So we thank you all.
Just a quick note, I think we on the 4 of us are owed a debt of gratitude for not being on that team.
I'm not going to disagree with you at all. How are you doing right now? Yeah, we'll announce the score after we show the video. I think you'll really enjoy it. Yeah, Bill. Okay.
One thing I wanted to make sure that they were here, how much Ted Robinson and Bob Holm did shepherding us around, making sure we got where we were supposed to go. This is in New York, you know, not in Delaware. Even in Delaware, making sure we got on the plane and got back here and where we were supposed to be. And I can't thank Bob enough, and Ed Robinson was a tremendous coach. Bob is a tremendous, I guess you call it, general manager. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. When we look at this video, at the end, they're going to show the audience. And this was the 3rd week, and there were quite a few Ohio Wesleyan people there. Look for Eldon Smith, his wife Betty, Howie Strout, who was the director of Alumni Relations, and there was a tall, skinny guy with a crew cut that was in there. See if you spot him. That would be brown hair. So, what do we have to do to move on with the video?
Get us off the stage.
Okay. Thank you, team. Thank you. I find the advertisements in this show kind of interesting too. They're quite, not exactly timeless.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Match wits with the champions in America's favorite question and answer game, live from New York City. The Intercollegiate Battle of Brains, now in its 6th season, the award-winning General Electric College Bowl. Presenting outstanding varsity scholars throughout America and brought to you each week by the General Electric Company. General Electric, makers of world-famous portable home appliances, clocks, health, beauty, and floor care products. Today's contest brings together 4 bright varsity scholars from the University of California at Los Angeles, UCLA, and our current champions going for game number 3, the varsity scholars from Ohio Wesleyan University, Delaware, Ohio. And now, the man with the questions, Robert Earl.
Thank you. It's good to have you with us here in the General Electric College Bowl. Let's get started with our game and meet the teams. First, here are the challengers, the varsity scholars from UCLA.
Dave Cross, North Hollywood, California.
Charles Silver, Los Angeles, California.
Joe Goldberg, Van Nuys, California.
Art Harris, Los Angeles, California.
That's UCLA. And our current champions, the varsity scholars from Ohio Wesleyan University.
Bill Schaefer, Birmingham, Michigan.
Richard Pepp, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Ann Hofstra, Washington, D.C. Kathy Leshy, Peebles, Ohio.
That's Ohio Wesleyan. All right, you've met the teams. Now we'd like to have you meet the coaches. First, from UCLA, here is Assistant Professor of Urban Land Economics, Dr. Lee Burns. Welcome, sir, all the way from California. And from Ohio Wesleyan, here's Professor of Speech, Ed Robinson. Good luck, gentlemen. As you know, each week the winning school receives a $1,500 scholarship grant from the General Electric Company and returns to defend its title. The runner-up school receives a $500 scholarship grant, and our game begins directly after this message from General Electric.
Now fix any size toast to order. Thick or thin, long or short, even odd shapes, in the General Electric toaster oven that toasts both sides at once, evenly, perfectly, and delivers the toast right into your hand automatically. The toaster oven bakes like an oven too. Bake brown and serve rolls, frozen pies, baked potatoes, and even a delicious meatloaf on the special easy-to-use oven tray. Set the temperature control as you would your oven. Top and bottom heating elements ensure perfect baking action. And the picture window lets you watch while you bake. There's even a special top browner for English muffins, hors d'oeuvres, or open-faced cheese sandwiches.
It bakes like an oven, toasts like a dream.
Perfect toast at a finger's touch, plus the baking convenience of an extra oven. The General Electric toaster oven is available at fine stores everywhere.
All right, teams, you're both familiar with the rules. Are you ready, UCLA?
Ready.
All set, Ohio Wesleyan?
Ready.
Very well. There's the whistle to start the game. You're playing for a 25-point bonus question. Here is your first toss-up. Many poets have written sonnets to their fair ladies. For 10 points, who wrote the best-known sonnets to a dark lady?
UCLA, Harris.
Shakespeare.
Yes, Shakespeare, that's right, for 10 points. All right, UCLA. Here's your first bonus question. American presidents have been many things to many people. For 5 points apiece, identify the American president who was a combination of these things: lawyer, history professor, college president, and governor of New Jersey.
Woodrow Wilson.
Yes, that's right, for 5 points. Medical student, Indian fighter, army officer, and 9th president of the United States.
No, that was William Henry Harrison. William Henry Harrison.
Yes, it was Harrison. Law student, school teacher, editor, and newspaper publisher.
Johnson.
No, Harding. Sheriff of Erie County, mayor of Buffalo, and governor of New York.
Grover Cleveland.
That's right. Member of the House of Representatives, United States Senator, Minister to Russia, Envoy to Great Britain, and Secretary of State in the Cabinet of President Polk. Your answer?
Buchanan. Buchanan.
Yes, James Buchanan. That's right. I think you had 4 out of 5 on that one for 20 points. You're playing for a 30-point bonus question now. Here is the toss-up. It is indigenous to North and South Carolina. Its name is Diania muscipula. For 10 points, what is the most unusual characteristic of this plant?
Ohio Wesleyan, Pep.
It catches insects.
Yes, that's right. It is insect trapping, or carnivorous. All right, Ohio Wesleyan. Meetings and partings are frequent in works of literature, and here are some book titles that include the words we say at meeting and parting. 5 points apiece for each title you can supply. The title of a novel by Ernest Hemingway.
Farewell.
Farewell to arms.
Farewell to Arms. The title of a one-act play by William Saroyan. The answer is Hello Out There. A novel by Françoise Sagan.
Bonjour Tristesse.
Bonjour Tristesse, that's right. A book of poems by Carl Sandburg.
Hello America? Hello America?
No, it's Good Morning, America. A novel by James Hilton.
Goodbye Mr. Chips.
Goodbye Mr. Chips. A biography of John Barrymore by Jean Fowler.
Good night, sweet prince.
Good night, sweet prince.
Yes, Good Night, Sweet Prince. That's right. Now I have a 30-pointer waiting. Here is the toss-up. I own a paint manufacturing company. I want to expand my business by what economists call horizontal expansion. For 10 points, what do I do?
Ohio Wesleyan, Leshy.
Build more buildings.
Yes, build more plants to make more paint. That's right, presumably. All right. All right, Ohio Wesleyan. Alexander had quite an empire back in 323 BC. Today, his empire would include all or part of a number of modern nations. 10 points if you can name 6 of these nations, 20 points if you can name 10 of them, and 30 points if you can name 14. Give me one list of 14, and your captain, Richard Pep, please, will speak for your team.
Greece.
Go ahead.
Turkey.
Lebanon.
Lebanon.
Israel.
Israel.
Syria.
Syria.
Iraq.
Iraq.
Jordan.
Jordan.
Iran.
Iran.
Yugoslavia.
Pakistan.
Pakistan.
Egypt.
Egypt.
Yugoslavia.
Saudi Arabia. We were trying.
Saudi Arabia.
Yugoslavia. Kuwait.
Kuwait.
Czechoslovakia. Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Yugoslavia.
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
Albania.
Albania.
Yugoslavia.
That's 14. Now, let me tell you, you had Afghanistan, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Egypt, Greece, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Pakistan, Syria, and Turkey. You had 14 for 30 points. I have a 30-point bonus question waiting now. Here's the toss-up. Listen, and then for 10 points, please name the Greek play from which this excerpt comes. Listen.
To spare me to speech against my will. Speech! Speak it again!
Ohio Wesleyan, Schaefer.
Oedipus Rex.
Yes, that's right. Oedipus Rex by Sophocles. All right, Ohio Wesleyan. I have here typical examples of the work of 3 famous photographers. For 10 points apiece, tell me what photographer took this 1907 picture called The Steerage?
Steichen? Steichen?
No, it's Alfred Stieglitz. Now, what modern British photographer, famous for his photographs of royalty, took this portrait?
Anthony Armstrong Jones.
No, it's Cecil Beaton. It's a portrait of Queen Elizabeth, of course. Finally, what early
Matthew
American...
Brady.
Yes, that's Matthew Brady. All right. I have a 30-pointer waiting now. Here is the toss-up for 10 points. Tell me, according to common usage in this country, what comes between a birdie and a bogey?
Ohio Wesleyan, Schaefer.
Par.
Par, that's right. 10 points. All right, Ohio Wesleyan. Some people keep goldfish, some keep hamsters. For 5 points apiece, identify the animal or animal life with which these people are principally associated. Joy Adamson.
Lions.
Lions.
Yes, lions. Gavin Maxwell. That's otters. Thomas Hunt Morgan.
T.H. Morgan. Drosophila, fruit flies.
Yes, that's
Fruit
right,
flies,
Drosophila,
yeah.
fruit flies. Dr. John C. Lilly of the Communications Research Institute in Florida.
Alligators.
Porpoises.
Yes, bottlenose dolphins. Wolfgang Köhler.
Bees.
Say it.
Bees.
No, it's chimpanzees or anthropoid apes. Karl von Frisch.
That's bees, I think.
Say it.
Bees.
Yes, that's bees. That's right. Now I have a 20-point bonus question waiting. Here's the toss-up. When John Dos Passos writes history, he makes his characters come alive. For 10 points, what internationally famous statesman is Dos Passos describing in this passage from his book, Mr. Wilson's War? He did have a Mongol look with his high cheekbones over the great mustaches that the cartoonist...
Ohio Wesleyan, Schaefer.
Clemenceau.
Clemenceau, that's right, for 10 points. All right, Ohio Wesleyan, how is your hootenanny IQ? We're going to play excerpts from 4 folk songs. As each excerpt ends, you sing the next 2 lines. 5 points for each one you can sing. First, this one.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor?
What shall we do with the drunken sailor early in the
Morning. That's right. Now, try the next one.
Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry.
Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Poor boy, you're bound to die.
That's right. Now, sing the line that follows this excerpt.
Oh, don't you remember sweet Betsy from Pike?
Across the wide prairie with her husband Ike.
Her lover Ike, that's right. And finally, sing the 2 lines that, that follow this song.
It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song.
It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long.
That's right, for 20 points. Very nicely done, I might add. Now you're playing for a 30-point bonus question. Here is the toss-up for 10 points. What modern piece of writing mentions the following figures: a one-eyed merchant, a hanged man, and a drowned Phoenician?
Ohio Wesleyan, Hofstra.
That's T.S. Eliot's Wasteland.
It is The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. All right, Ohio Wesleyan, for 10 points apiece, identify the historian or social scientist who first gained fame by noting the influence of the receding frontier on American expansion.
Turner.
Yes, Frederick Jackson Turner. The influence of sea power upon history.
Million.
Admiral Mahan, that's right. The role of the leisure class.
Veblen.
Thorsten Veblen is right for 30 points. Now we have a 30... There's the whistle to end the first half, and the score is...
UCLA 30, Ohio Wesleyan University 190.
In just a moment, we'll take time out and talk with these teams.
Where's all the action? Right here, in the General Electric Automatic Cord Reel Cleaner, with the amazing new Twin Clean Rug and Floor Tool. Yes, this new Twin Clean tool makes life easier for you, because it has twin brushes for double cleaning action on both forward and backward strokes. No wasted motion here. New pickup power and improved lint pickup performance combine to give you fast, efficient cleaning. There's also action in the automatic cord reel. Simply pull out as much cord as you need. When you're through,
just tap your toe and in it goes, out of your way for the rest of the day.
there's new freedom of action in the General Electric swivel top that allows you to clean up, down, and all around with ease, plus attachments for every cleaning job. Treat yourself to all this extra cleaning action. Buy the General Electric automatic cord reel vacuum cleaner at your General Electric dealer tomorrow.
As you know, it's our custom here in the General Electric College Bowl to invite the visiting team to bring along a film of its campus. And now to tell you about the films of the University of California at Los Angeles, here's the captain of the UCLA team, Charles Silver.
Thank you, Mr. Earl. The University of California at Los Angeles opened its doors in the fall of 1929. Royce Hall was the first building completed, and along with the main library and two other principal buildings formed the Central Campus Quad. UCLA's 22,000 students enjoy almost complete year-round sunshine. A substantial and increasing proportion of these are enrolled in graduate programs. Academically ranked among the top 12 United States universities, UCLA has attracted distinguished scholars from all over the world. A building revolution has taken place on the UCLA campus to keep up with its phenomenal growth. The bold social sciences building towers over the modest art structure, and the recently completed physics building provides yet another contrast and indicates the diversity of design. 3,200 students live in the 4 coeducational residence halls that rim the university. Students from every corner of the 411-acre campus meet at the Student Union, where they can relax and enjoy any number of recreations. This is UCLA, one of the largest and most rapidly growing universities in the world.
There's a brief look at UCLA. Thank you, Charles. Now, let's find out more about this team from Ohio Wesleyan University. Bill Schaefer, tell us about your extracurricular activities, will you?
Well, for the past 4 years, I've been a manager for the Ohio Wesleyan varsity football team, Mr. Earl.
Mm-hmm. What else?
And I've also worked on the school newspaper in the past.
And now?
Well, I'm not doing too much right now, but I've always been active in my fraternity, Sigma Alpha Epsilon.
Okay. Captain Richard Pepp, how about you?
Well, I'm sometimes active in the theater group. I have done cartooning for the Ohio Wesleyan Transcript. I'm a member of the Folk Song Society. And at the present moment, I'm literary editor of the Ohio Wesleyan literary magazine, The Owl.
Wonderful. Ann Hofstra. I might mention that Ann Hofstra has been selected for membership in the National Scholastic Honorary Phi Beta Kappa. And Ann, tell us how this happens. How does one get selected for Phi
Well,
Beta
first
Kappa?
you have to meet certain course requirements, such as having taken 2 years of a language. Then you have to have certain point average requirements. You need a 3.5 on a 4-point system. And then finally you're reviewed by a faculty committee for academic standards and integrity.
Well, we're very pleased that you've achieved this honor. Our congratulations to you. I suppose this doesn't leave very much time for other activities, or does it?
Well, I find that it does. I've been treasurer of the Women's Panhellenic Council, and I've also served as associate editor of the Le Bijou, which is our school yearbook.
And you have been a busy young lady, haven't you?
Yeah.
Kathy Leshy, tell us about your extracurricular activities, please.
Well, Mr. Earl, I'm a member of the Senior Responsibilities Committee, which is a subcommittee of our Association of Women Students. Right now we're investigating the question of increased privileges for senior women. I'm also a member of the Student Senate, and right now I'm serving as Vice President of the Young Democratic Club at Ohio Wesleyan.
And I will tell you, because Kathy won't, Kathy is the reigning sweetheart of Phi Delta Theta. And there's a closer look at the team from Ohio Wesleyan University. There's the whistle to start the second half with a score, UCLA 30, Ohio Wesleyan 180. Remember, teams, the next time you hear that whistle, the game is over. If it blows while I'm asking a question, I stop. If it blows while you are answering, you will be allowed to complete that one answer, but no more. All set, you're playing for a 30-point bonus question. Here is the toss-up for 10 points. Complete this sentence with one word. If a ball player hits a high fly, the path of the ball is nearly a...
UCLA, cross.
Parabola.
Parabola is right for 10 points. All right, UCLA. For 10 points apiece, identify the poets who wrote these lines, obviously influenced by ancient history. The poet who wrote, "On desperate seas long wont to roam, thy hyacinth hair, thy classic face, thy naiad airs have brought me home to the glory that was Greece and the grandeur that was Rome."
Say Byron. Okay. Byron.
No, it was Edgar Allan Poe in To Helen. Try the next one. The poet who wrote, "Lo, all our pomp of yesterday is one with Nineveh and Tyre. Judge of the nations, spare us yet, lest we forget. Lest we forget."
Shakespeare.
No, it's Kipling in The Recessional. And finally, the poet who wrote, "Lars Porsena of Clusium, by the 9 gods he swore that the great house of Tarquin should suffer wrong no more."
Tennyson.
No, it's Macaulay in Horatius. I have a 20-point bonus question waiting now. Here's the toss-up. This is the time of year when you are apt to hear people grumbling about taxes. For 10 points, what famous American reportedly expressed a philosophic attitude about taxes in these words? "The taxes are indeed very heavy, and if those laid by the government were the only ones, we might easily discharge them. We are taxed twice as much by our idleness, 3 times as much by our pride, and 4 times...
Ohio Wesleyan, Schaefer.
Benjamin Franklin.
Yes, it was Benjamin Franklin. 10 points. All right, Ohio Wesleyan. Many of the early explorers searched without success for the Northwest Passage, which would take them from the Atlantic to the Pacific. For 10 points, who wrote a book entitled Northwest Passage?
Kenneth Roberts.
Yes. For 10 points, who finally navigated a Northwest Passage from 1903 to 1906?
Peary? Peary.
No, it was Amundsen. 1 out of 2, 10 points. You're playing for a 20-pointer now. Here is the toss-up. Three of the isms that come immediately to mind in connection with music are Romanticism, Classicism, and Impressionism. For 10 points, with which of these isms do you associate this music?
Ohio Wesleyan, Leshy.
Impressionism.
Yes, Impressionism is right. It's Debussy's La Mer. All right, Ohio Wesleyan, in order to be useful, heat must be carried from the device in which it is generated to the place where it's to be used. For 20 points, name the three ways in which heat may be transferred.
Convection, conduction, and radiation.
That's right, for 20 points. I have a 30-pointer waiting now. Here's your toss-up. From what you know of presidents' sons, for 10 points, tell me which president's son was in close proximity to 3 presidential assassinations.
Ohio Wesleyan, Pep.
Lincoln's.
Yes, it was Lincoln's son, Robert Todd Lincoln, who was close to his father's, Garfield's, and McKinley's assassinations. Here's the bonus question. The Great Seal of the United States, as you can see by looking at the back of a dollar bill, which I hope you won't do just now, includes 3 Latin phrases, 10 points each for telling me what they mean. E pluribus unum is the first one.
From many, one.
Yes, out of many, one. Annuit septies. It means he has smiled on or approved our undertakings or beginnings. Novus ordo securorum.
A new order of the ages.
That's right. 2 out of 3, 20 points. I have a 25-point bonus question. Here is the toss-up for 10 points. What Mexican artist painted this picture of La Batista?
Ohio Wesleyan, left to right, Schaefer.
Diego Rivera.
No, 5-point.
UCLA, Harris.
Orozco.
Yes, Orozco, that's right, for 10 points. All right, here's your bonus question. 4 Johns were presidents of the United States. For a very quick 5 points apiece, tell us how many Catherines were reigning empress of Russia.
2.
Yes. How many Richards were king of England?
3.
That's right. How many King Charles of France?
King Charles of France. 10.
Yes. How many King James of Scotland?
6.
No, the answer is 7. How many King Leopolds of Belgium?
3.
Yes, that's right. 3. Now you're playing for a 20-pointer. Here is the toss-up. Listen. I shall not die of a cold, my son, said the old archbishop. I shall die of having lived. For 10 points, tell me the title and the author.
Ohio Wesleyan, Pep.
Edith Wharton, Death Comes to the Archbishop.
No, 5-point penalty.
UCLA, Goldberg.
Willa Cather, Death Comes
Yes, Death Comes for the Archbishop Willa Cather. That's right, for 10 points. All right, UCLA, he laid the foundations for the first system of symbolic logic. He improved on Pascal's calculating machine. He discovered, independently of Newton, infinitesimal calculus for 20 points.
Leibniz.
Leibniz is right for 20 points. I have a 20-pointer waiting. Here is the toss-up for 10 points. Name the European king who is the only reigning monarch to have recently won a gold medal in the Olympics.
Ohio Wesleyan, Schaefer.
King Constantine of Greece.
It is King Constantine of Greece. He won a gold medal in yachting in 1960. All right, Ohio Wesleyan for 20 points. What 19th and 20th century English author wrote you the obscure Tess of the D'Urbervilles and Yes, Thomas Hardy, 20 points. I have another 20-pointer waiting. Here's the toss-up for 10 points. Tell me, what recently registered 8.5 on the Richter scale?
UCLA, Harris.
The Alaska earthquake.
Yes, that's right, for 10 points. And here's the bonus. Both the Englishman Adams and the Frenchman Leverrier predicted it. The German Galle discovered it. For 20 points. Name it.
Halley's Comet.
No, the answer is the planet Neptune. I have a 20-pointer waiting. Here's the toss-up. According to mythology, Scylla sat in a rock on the Italian side of the Strait of Messina.
UCLA, Harris.
Charybdis.
No, 5-point penalty, and I'll repeat the entire question for Ohio Wesleyan. According to mythology, Scylla sat on a rock on the Italian... Okay, the answer is Lorelei. Let's go to another toss-up. Certain scientists of the 1800s believed that they could predict a man's personality by studying the bumps on his skull.
UCLA, Silver.
Physiognomy.
I beg your pardon?
It's called physiognomy.
No, 5-point penalty, and I'll repeat the entire question for Ohio Wesleyan. Certain scientists of the 1800s believed they could predict a man's personality by studying the bumps on his skull. For 10 points, what were those men called?
Ohio Wesleyan, Hofstra.
Phrenologists.
Phrenologists. It's phrenology, that's right, for 10 points. And here's the bonus question. For 20 points, in a deathbed speech, what Asian religious leader reportedly said, "Be lamps unto yourself, be a refuge to yourselves. Look not for refuge to anyone beside yourselves"?
Oh, how about Gandhi?
Mahatma Gandhi?
No, the answer is Buddha. I have another 20-pointer waiting. Here's the toss-up. The man who wrote La Chartreuse de Parme also wrote Le Rouge.
UCLA, Harris.
Stendhal.
That's right. 10 points, and here's the bonus. This French painter was attracted by primitive art, was strongly influenced by Japanese prints, rejected certain
Gauguin.
aspects. Yes, Gauguin is right for 20 points. I have another 20-pointer waiting. Here is the toss-up. The equator passes through 3 South American countries. 10 points if you can name all.
Ohio Wesleyan, Schaefer.
Ecuador, Peru, and Brazil.
No, 5-point penalty. I hadn't finished reading the question. I'll repeat it for UCLA. The equator passes through 3 South American countries. 10 points if you can name all 3 of these countries.
No.
Conference, Brazil, Colombia, and Ecuador. Let's go to another toss-up. He was James I's father, and Mary, Queen of...
UCLA, silver.
James V.
No, 5-point penalty. Now repeat the entire question for Ohio Wesleyan.
Ohio Wesleyan, Schaefer.
Earl of Bothwell.
No! The answer is Darnley. Let's go to another toss-up. Medusa was his mom. Bellerophon was his companion for 10 points. Who was he?
Perseus?
No, the answer is Pegasus. That's it. Time's up. The game is over. We'll validate the final score and in a moment announce the winner and award the scholarship grants.
Now, General Electric makes ironing easier than ever. Whatever the fabric, General Electric makes ironing easier than ever. Thanks to the many work-saving features on this General Electric spray, steam, and dry iron. First, there's a new sole plate, especially designed to provide a more effective pattern of smooth, even-flowing, deep-penetrating steam. Your iron glides easily without scorching, sticking, or tugging. You spray wrinkles away with a finger's touch. No tiresome pumping. Just press lightly, and automatically a continuous mist sprays right where you want it. Look, there's a water window, too. Just tilt and tell. This added convenience on the General Electric spray, steam, and dry iron tells you when to add water. 3 wash and wear settings make it safer and easier to iron even delicate fabrics. Put all these work-saving features together, and General Electric makes ironing easier than ever. Buy a General Electric spray, steam, and dry iron the first thing this week.
It's official. The final score today is UCLA 125, Ohio Wesleyan 285. Ohio Wesleyan is the winner. And for carrying home the honors today, Ohio Wesleyan University will receive a $1,500 scholarship grant from the General Electric Company, and to UCLA goes General Electric's $500 scholarship grant. And teams, to all 8 of you varsity scholars, another fine contest. Once again, the National Education Association reminds us that April is Teaching Career Month. This annual activity by the NEA aims to focus attention on the need for attracting and keeping the best possible teachers for our nation's schools and colleges. There are many personal rewards in a teaching career, and yet the shortage of teachers still exists. I'm speaking particularly of public elementary and secondary schools teachers. So if you're a good scholar, if you have a sense of humor, and if you like to help others, and most important, if you like to be with people, we urge you to give serious thought to a career in teaching. And now, in just a moment, we'll bring you news of next week's contest.
Now, the brand new General Electric Deluxe hair dryer in the smart Oyster White travel case goes where you go. 80 jets of warm air dry hair quickly, evenly. Reach-in bouffant bonnet concentrates heat where you need it. And the carrying strap lets you walk around, work around.
It pampers your hair with professional care at home.
Buy the General Electric Deluxe hair dryer.
Our score again today, UCLA 125 and Ohio Wesleyan 285. Next week, Ohio Wesleyan University will defend its title against a challenging team from Michigan Technological University, Houghton, Michigan. Questions used on the General Electric College Bowl are authenticated through the research facilities provided by the World Book Encyclopedia. We hope you'll join us again next Sunday when Ohio Wesleyan meets Michigan Technological University on the College Bowl, brought to you every week at this time by the General Electric Company.
And remember, in education, as in science and industry, at General Electric, progress is our most important product. We'll see you next week.
Tonight, the unprecedented devotion of a gallant little dog captures the heart of a great city. Watch for the story of Greyfriars Bobby on Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color, 7:30 p.m., 6:30 Central Time, here on NBC.
This is Lawrence Spivak. Stay tuned now as Dr. Milton Eisenhower meets the press. Next in color on NBC.
This has been a color presentation of the NBC Television Network.
Central Time on most of these NBC stations.
I hope all your women go out and buy those irons. Might be a little time this afternoon. Forgotten what those look like. I didn't realize so many of the questions were going to be from the program. We have some resourceful people who found some good questions, but it was kind of a memory test. Imagine after 50 years still remembering the answers to some of those. Well, I'm ready to announce the score, and in keeping with what you've just seen, the score is UCLA 45, Ohio Wesleyan 210. Thank you all for coming. It's been a lot of fun. Enjoy the weekend.